Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of my Create This Book series by me and Moriah Elizabeth. Today, I am going to be doing 4 more prompts in the book. Before I begin, be sure to like and subscribe, and let's see what we can do for today's prompts. Let's flip to the first prompt of the day, which when I got there was to create a page of garbage. So I'm supposed to attach garbage to this page, but I'm not about that. So first I'm putting my little fake plant paperweight down to hold down the book. Now I'm bringing in my Posca pens because even though I'm not about putting garbage on the page, I do have an idea. So I'm not going to sketch with the Posca. I'm going to grab my pencil and sketch out my plan. So I wasn't a fan, like I said, of putting literal garbage onto this paper. It's just not really the vibe I'm going for this book. So instead I came up with the idea to color and draw Oscar the Grouch because he literally lives in a trash can. So I felt like he would be the perfect person to put onto the page. So that's what I'm doing here. I started by just sketching everything out, trash can and all, and I feel like that would be the perfect thing to put on this page because it definitely represents garbage because it's a literal garbage can, but it's still cute and I could still draw something and not just attach garbage to a page or draw garbage because I really couldn't resonate with that. So I tried to make it a little bit different, but I think I still stuck to the theme and the challenge of this page. Once I had sketched everything out, now it was time to go in with those Posca pens I was talking about before, and so obviously I started with the color green and just colored him in entirely. Then I went ahead and colored in his little tongue too that's like in his mouth, just like floating in the abyss, always how those cartoons are. And then I also colored in his little unibrow mustache looking thing on the top of his head, and then after that it was time to color in the actual trash can. I actually had a lot of fun with this page, even though when I first saw it, I was, a little bit confused and I really had no idea what I was going to do for this page. But I'm glad I came up with this idea because it's still cute, but it's also, fitting to the prompt of garbage. So I think it worked out well. Then I went ahead and outlined the entire thing with a Posca pen just to kind of make it seem a little more cutesy and cartoon-like. I really liked that style for this because it's kind of weird and a little scary, but I still wanted to try and make it as cute as I possibly could, and I felt like making it more cartoon-like would do that. So I also added in a dark green to kind of create some dimension and shadows. This is how he turned out. Kind of scary, kind of cute, hopefully, but let's move on to the next prompt. This next prompt is to create a pet. So I'm supposed to make this page a pet and I'm supposed to give it a name. So the first pet that came into mind this time, even though I have 2 cats of my own, was actually a fish. I was just thinking about how, easy of pets those can be. You get an automatic fish feeder and there you go. They don't need attention. They don't need to be watched. So I was like, I'm going to make a fish pet because that just seems right. So I went ahead and started by sketching out the little fish. I just kind of made a classic looking, goldfish, but I added my own little twist. I gave him some little leopard spots on top of him just for fun. And then once I'd sketched him out in his little fish bowl, then I decided to go ahead and use Ohuhu markers to color in this little fish. I just felt like he needed a lot of fun colors, but first I outlined the entire design. That way it would stand out and I wouldn't have to worry about, defining things too much. I could just focus more on the colors. And for the colors for this little fish, I really wanted to add in some contrast. So I decided to make him orange, but I still left the water and stuff blue. I think it's kind of funny that we see water as blue, at least I do. I guess I don't know. Do you think water's blue? Because I do, but I guess water's actually clear. So anyway, it's kind of funny like that, but I decided to make the water in the fishbowl blue, and then I added this little gradient. So I did a kind of brighter, more vibrant blue, and then a softer blue on top, and added in some lines of that brighter blue as well, just to add in some dimension. I also stuck with cool tones to kind of do all of the little plant life and things in the little tank. That way it would all kind of contrast with the fish once I made him bright orange. I just feel like this would be the best way to make him really pop. You know, he's the star of this show. He is the pet. So I'm very excited about this. So I decided the colors that I was going to go with, like I said before, were more classic goldfish colors. So I made him orange, yellowy, and just very vibrant and contrasted with the blue water, which is actually clear. I actually really liked this prompt, and it was a huge step up from the first one we just did, you know, with the garbage. So I was actually really enjoying this one and had a lot of fun with it, just creating my own little fish, and I really liked that I gave him little leopard spots. I decided to add in some gold gel pen details to the fish just to make him pop even more, so I highlighted his leopard spots and his little fins and everything, and then I used a white gel pen to add in some sparkles and bubbles to the rest of his little tank. That way he'd look like he was in a little glass tank, and added in some streaks too, just to make it look like it was in glass. And then here is that shine on the goldfish. Now let's glue him into the book. So I just went ahead and put on some glue and put him in the book. That way he could be our little pet in there forever. And then I gave him a name, and I'm not sure why I named him Steve. But here he is, Steve the Goldfish. So now it's time for the next prompt, which is to create a page of polka dots. I was actually very happy with the simplicity and straightforwardness of this prompt. I decided to just take it for what it was and not try to be any more imaginative than what it gave us. So my goal for this page was to just create a page of polka dots, just like it said. So I decided to use my Posca pens, and then I went in rainbow order from pink all the way down to purple and added in polka dots of various colors in rainbow order, of course, just to add in a little bit of fun to the polka dots so it wasn't just black and white. But I still just stuck to the theme, and this is how it came out. Super simple, but super cute and according to the theme. But now it is time for this prompt, which was another interesting one. It wanted me to record a conversation. So I was supposed to go in a room, and while I was talking to people, record the conversation. I didn't really know how I would make a drawing out of that, and to be quite honest, it seemed a little bit weird. So I decided that I was going to take this prompt into my own hands once again and try to be a little more outside of the box and creative with it. And the thing that popped into my head when I thought about conversations was a phone. So I decided to roll with that and create a little phone illustration, or actually two phone illustrations for this prompt. The first phone that I drew out is this little 1950s retro cute type of phone, and I felt like the color scheme for both of these phones should be really cutesy and pastel and kind of vintage vibes. And in my head, when I think of vintage, I think of pink, pink bathrooms, that kind of thing. So I decided to go with that color scheme and palette, purple and pink. So I wrote out local call on the phone just to be cute, and then I added these little dials. Not enough of the little things, like the numbers would not fit on there, but that's okay. It's more for the aesthetic, not actually functional, obviously. And then I went ahead and used my Ohuhu markers to create some shading and colored in that pink that I was talking about before, and just kind of went ahead on the whole thing. I wanted this to have dreamy vibes and kind of feel soft and pastel, kind of nice, fancy looking. So that's my goal, and that's what I was going for. And after I colored all of the pink in, then I went ahead and moved on to purple. So I decided to use a light kind of pastel purple just to add in some variation to the colors and just to add a little bit more detail and visual interest for you to look at. And then after I finished all of that, I used a purple little gel pen to add in some sparkles and some details. I used it to number everything and to just add a little bit of pizzazz to the whole drawing. And then after that, I felt like it needed even more sparkle, so I used my white gel pen to just add in some little dreamy shining elements. And then after that, I cut it out, and then it was time to move on to the next illustration. So for this one, I am also doing a phone, but this one's more what I imagine to be kind of like a 70s, maybe 70s kind of telephone. I just sketched this one out. This one's design was a little more simplistic than the other one. It didn't have the whole box and everything. So this one was a lot more simple to do. I still did not add enough little circles for all of the numbers, but that's all right. You still get the idea. Again, it's just for the aesthetic. You're not going to use this phone. It's just going to look pretty. So I decided to again follow along with the same color schemes. That way both of the illustrations would go together. but this time I kind of wanted to reverse the colors. So I decided to make the entire phone for this one purple instead of pink, and then made the little details the opposite color. I'm getting confused, so I can't tell you what color that is, but you get what I'm saying. So I'm going ahead with a deep purple and putting it all in along the shadows. That way I can add in some dimension. And then I took a lighter, kind of more muted purple to color around the whole thing and add in the lighter shades for the phone. And then I decided to bring in some more pink like I had in the other one. So I put the light pink on the numbers and around the brim, and then I added a deep pink to the inside to add some shadows. That way the phones would all match and go together. I felt like this was just perfect. And again, I added in my little sparkle details with my purple gel pen and the white gel pen, of course, too, just to add that extra element of reflectiveness and shine. And then I cut this one out as well, and then it was time to actually put them into the book. So I took my glue again and glued them into the book, first the pink phone and then the purple phone right next to it, and I think they are the perfect pair and go super well together, and I love how these phones shine. But let's take a look at the first prompt again. The first prompt was to create a page of garbage, which I escaped by being creative and making Oscar the Grouch, who lives in a literal garbage can. That way I did not have to draw a whole bunch of garbage, but instead could draw him. Next up was this prompt, which was to create a pet, and I made this perfect little goldfish named Steve, who lives in this beautiful little tank all by himself with nice little plants, and I made the tank super sparkly for him. I love this page. I think it was so fun and just super cute. Here is the next prompt, which was super easy and was a much needed break in my brain's creativity. I just made a page of polka dots, kept it nice and simple, and made little polka dot rainbow page, and it's super cute and fun, and I really needed the break from exercising my mind. And here is the last prompt of the day, which was to create a recorded conversation. And instead of doing that, I drew out these cute little phones that match pink and purple and are just super fun and cutesy to look at. Let me know which prompt was you guys' favorite, because I had a tough time with a lot of these ones, but I actually had a lot of fun and they all turned out much better than I expected them to. So let me know which one is your favorite. I think mine is the phone. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!